I think we've had a couple of days to really stew on the idea of the new Commander format as we know it, with brackets and game changers, and with some opinions coming about from your favorite podcasts and content creators. I think many of you have had a variety of different opinions come together and have been able to form your own opinion. Before we go too far into this video, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. How do you feel about Commander brackets a couple days later? Are you high on it? Are you low on it? Are you kind of cautiously optimistic or generally on the low side? I will say myself, I'm generally positive about the changes going forward. I think having structure is important, and then having a community-based feedback approach is also very important for the ultimate implementation of such a big future direction for the format. It's going to take time for people to get used to it, but I think also having a little bit of vagueness in there is also a plus and minus, more so a plus, but I do have my criticisms of it. You can't deny the fact that the majority of decks are probably going to fall within bracket 3, but some of the lines are so stark that it can be a little tough. For example, between bracket 4 and bracket 5, things tend to be a lot less loose. It tends to be a little bit clear where the jump is. It's more so in mentality and direction, but really the bracket 4 can encompass a lot of things. The problem is between bracket 3 and 4, that's what the big jump is. For example, you can only have 3 game changers in bracket 3, but once you move to 4 with 4 game changers, doesn't that just mean you should just go all the way and play all the duels and all the high powerful stuff? Like, is there like a low 4 and then a high 4? Is that the type of conversation that we look to have? And does that ultimately end up being the 10 bracket system? I think that's something that a lot of people will talk to, but the big benefit here is that we actually have a clear defined outline as to what those brackets are. Before, our definition of what a 7 is and your 7 is was completely different. So I think although there are problems in between the margins, the direction and the clear defined this is it is a great positive thing. But when it comes to the game changers, I think a lot of people have their criticisms in majority. There's a lot of cards that aren't on the list. There's a lot of cards that should probably get on there ASAP. And there's a lot of cards that probably can come off the ban list immediately to join said cards. Now in this video, as the title and thumbnail suggests, I'm going to take the time to go over 5 cards that I believe should enter the game changers list. After months of testing from what it will be, we'll learn at the end of April, MagicCon Chicago, many content creators releasing game nights and other Commander gameplay videos on different bracket decks. I'm pretty sure by the time we get to April's announcement, we will see probably 5 different game nights or 4 different game nights at least of bracket 1 game night, bracket 2 game night, bracket 3, bracket 4, all that type of stuff. And I'm excited as a content creator to see how people thumbnail and stuff up. I kind of have my own little nerdy thumbnails and thinking about how I want to post all that stuff. But I want to go over cards that I think should enter, that I think a lot of people are frustrated with in general, although some of them have their explanations. But some of them, especially 2 of them, my top 2, honestly, kind of surprised aren't there already. Now, one of the first cards I want to address is going to be Farewell. This isn't a card that I think should enter the list at all. A lot of people are surprised as to why Farewell isn't there. I think this is just one of those like top salty cards on, I guess if you went on EDH track, I think they have like a salty divider somewhere. But if you just went on there, I think top salty cards, Farewell's got to be like top 3 or something. I don't know. Someone let me know in the comment section down below if that's true. This is just a board wipe with a lot of optionality. I think it costs a lot. It's at sorcery speed. There's already a fair amount of sorceries on there, which are like kind of weird. Like I think sorceries like in a stack based system are like really awkward to be putting on lists like that. Like I'm already kind of hesitant about like Expropriate on there. Expropriate and Farewell almost have like a similar effect in my mind. Expropriate tries to win the game, whereas like and people always make like bad decisions around it, but Farewell just like a lot of times doesn't do that. A lot of people cast Farewell improperly to just extend the game by another hour. They do not cast that card in the eyes of like trying to win the game. They will just be the 3rd or 4th person casting a board wipe, and this is just a hard reset, pissing everybody off. Which is why I think ultimately Farewell will not hit this list. It's really just a player-based problem, but also I think that can apply to a majority of cards that are on the game changers list, to be honest. I just think like having that structure of this is like a quote unquote soft watch list is also kind of nice. Regardless, Farewell shouldn't be on there. But at number 5, I think the first card that should be on the game changers list itself is going to be a bit of a niche one. It's Nethervoid. Now, this is a card that I think largely is not on here due to price and lack of player acknowledgement. This is actually a really cheap enchantment for what it does, and it's actually an extremely powerful effect for what it is. And the problem is that, again, it's the price and accessibility route that a lot of people are working with, that they've never heard of a card like this. Nethervoid is black and 3 for a world enchantment. Whenever a player plays a spell, counter it unless its controller pays 3. So really, all spells, even your own, as the player casting the Nethervoid, will just cost 3 more and then just counter it. Now, the thing is, if you're playing this alongside blue, maybe you're playing this alongside some rampant green, you can largely ignore this or have the mana to play this, or maybe you have some type of spell that makes it so your things can't be countered. And so that's how you get around the Nethervoid, and it ultimately ends up being a stacks piece that black decks can use to manipulate other players. Now, again, the big thing holding this card back is the price. A lot of casuals don't know about this card. It was, I believe, only printed in Legends, and I think there was like a Masters edition as well, but largely Nethervoid is just this enchantment that is so high costed. Maybe some CDH decks are playing, maybe some high power decks, but once you play against it once, you will understand why this card is absolutely insane, why nobody is playing it is crazy, because I guess it's never gotten a reprint anywhere, so no one's had it in front of their eyes. But this is an absolutely insane Magic card, and the more people realize what it is and what it does for 4 mana and how people can make it one-sided, I think people will start growing on the fact that making everything cost more essentially makes it so a lot of people can't cast cards, similar to how certain cards like Voha and stuff have like Ward 4, or like Kappa Cannoneer has Ward 4. Like, these essentially make it so they're like untargeted. They might as well have Shroud. It just makes it saltier because it gives you the hope of potentially casting that card. It's never going to happen. You're not going to cast this card. All your spells cost 3 more. A lot of decks aren't built to do that. A lot of decks aren't even built to pay 1 more. When I'm talking about, like, 2 more on a Smothering Tide, 1 more on a Rhystic Study. A lot of decks aren't built to be doing stuff like that, paying 1 more for their spells. Paying 3 more? Absolutely insane. You as a Nethervoid player are the one abusing something like this. No one else is. This is such a low-key card. And I think it's just community sentiment that's pulling it this low. This card is absolutely insane. But at number 4, I think the next card's got to be Stasis. This is a card that I'm actually surprised. I think it's getting like lumped into the whole like mana denial aspect. They're like, oh, category 1 and 2, bracket 1 and 2 kind of cover this, but it just does so much more. It's not about the lands. It's the fact that you can't untap anything. Players just skip their untap step. They don't untap their creatures, their mana rocks, their enchantments, I guess. Like, they don't untap anything, right? Like, everything about Stasis is frustrating. Now, at the beginning of your upkeep, you have to pay the blue for it, but if you're the Stasis player, you can play the blue for it. Somehow, some way, you are going to have the ability to either leave mana up, have untappers, have something that untaps everything. You are going to be the one abusing Stasis. Again, a lot of these cards, you're going to start seeing a pattern of how the cards on this list are going to be cards that are very easy to manipulate to be one-sided. I'm very surprised Stasis isn't on here and is being lumped into stuff like Armageddon and Yokel Hops that shouldn't be on the list, but like Stasis isn't, because it does more than Blood Moon or Back to Basics. It is more than land denial, and I think ultimately Stasis should enter the list. Probably will. This card's absolutely insane, and again, a more common card. It's more common than Nethervoid. I think many Commander players should know about Stasis. In terms of the third card, this one's a bit more niche, archetype dependent, but whenever it's played, it's not something that's ever used fairly. Humility. White, and 2 enchantment. All creatures lose all abilities and have power toughness 1/1. This card is there is never a fair situation where this is used. I have never seen this card resolved from me and looked across to the table and said, wow, this is a fair beatable situation. It's always some Planeswalker deck that's so damn wide and is able to protect it. They always got some type of protection spell, at least one counter spell to stop it. They've given it indestructible. They've given it that and or Shroud, and it's just so problematic all through and through. I think the big thing holding this back is the fact that, yes, that's not all the time. It's really only Planeswalker decks. Like, one type of deck is playing something like this. So if you just play against less Planeswalker decks, or you kind of just expect it because they said they're Planeswalker typal, and okay, yeah, they're playing 5-colored Planeswalkers, they're playing Humility. So you can just expect, hold up your Natural Eyes, hold up I'm forgetting the name of the one with Split Second. That's a great one. Like, hold that stuff up. You will have a time where you need to use it against a Planeswalker deck. I still think it's one of those ones where it really is only abused one-sided. It's a really powerful card. I can see the argument for it. I have a bit of bias in this because admittedly, I do have someone in my play group that does play this card. It's like it's an absolute meme when it gets played. Everything gets shut down. Let me tell you, my other friend that plays dinos is never happy when this card gets pulled out. When that deck gets pulled out, they are itching. They are itching. And sometimes you just gotta let the humility resolve, and then that way you just counter it when they have the answer to the humility, and you're just like, let this resolve. I want to see humility stop the dinos player, and you sometimes it's just a necessary evil. But humility, always one-sided, abused by the planeswalker decks. Again, never used fairly. Another card that probably should enter the game changers, but honestly feels like a number 5. Maybe I misordered this one. But at number 2, this is a common one that a lot of people have been talking about, and it's Necropotence. Black, 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 enchantment, skip your draw step. Whenever you discard a card, exile that card from your graveyard. So again, whenever you go to like clean up stuff at the end or whatever, discard those cards. Pay 1 life. You can do this at any point. This is the activation. This is the cost of the activation. Just pay 1 life. You don't tap it, you don't do nothing. It's not a sorcery speed, nothing. Exile the top card of your library face down. Put that card into your hand at the beginning of the next end step. Now, admittedly, when you think about this card in something like Legacy Vintage, it's banned in Legacy, rightfully so. It's restricted in Vintage. Now, when you start to hear about things like this, it's banned in the Eternal formats, restricted in the format with Black Lotus. You start to really think about like, what is this card doing over there that we can't be doing in Commander? Now, this was actually specifically cited in the stream, I believe, for being very different to Ad Nauseam, which I think is like a fair argument when you compare it directly to Ad Nauseam. People are going off immediately with Ad Nauseam, whereas Necropotence, you get the cards at end step. So this is kind of like a self-fixing type of thing where, yeah, the 1s and 2s won't be playing it. Chances are if you're playing a Necropotence deck, you're probably not a 3 either. There's almost no fair way to use Necropotence. So you're already a 4 and a 5, and it's already just kind of holding itself there. The problem is with the other cards on this list, like Nethervoid, Stasis, Humility. Like Humility, you could just play a deck with Humility with no game changers, whatever. Stasis, you probably require some. You might be like artifact based, and then even Nethervoid, you could just be a meme with that and somehow abuse it. Necropotence just feels like that card where you are drawing a bunch of cards, you are drawing key cards, paying that life for your protection. You could pay and draw at 40 life. You could go all the way down to 1 and put 39 cards in your hand. Yes, you have to go down to 7 if you don't have something like a Reliquary Tower or whatever. If you don't have any way to stop your hand size from going down, yes, you go down to 7, but that is the perfect 7 that you need to potentially control the board. Once it gets back to you, you then win the game. Necropotence may not allow you to win immediately, but it's that type of card where it's never really, again, being used fairly. This is the type of card that makes it so it's like like you play this alongside of it, it's immediately bracket 4. You're playing all these powerful cards. It should be on the game changers list, restricted out of like the bracket 3 decks, and I think that's the key to this. You should be putting this on the game changers list, so it makes it so the bracket 3 decks aren't playing it, because again, it really feels like this is being used alongside the Force of Wills, the Rhystic Studies. Like the pure optimal decks are using Necropotence, so put it on that list so only the 4s and the CDH players can use it. Do not allow the bracket 3 players to take advantage of a card like this. This not being a game changer is too free to bracket 3 players. They will find a way to min-max this. It should probably just be on there. Leave it to the high power stuff. That is the big argument for that. Now, finally, the last card on my list, the card that I'm most surprised is not on the game changers list, is Teferi's Protection. This card, this card is insane. Every single white deck I have plays this card. It's almost like, so I tried to make a video the other day. Not that I tried, I feel like I succeeded, and a lot of people didn't agree with me in the comments about how Farewell doesn't need to be in every deck. I can't see a world where Teferi's Protection is not in that deck, unless it's for budgetary reasons, unless you're going for a theme, like, you know, everyone's gotta have a hat. Ain't nobody got a hat in Teferi's Protection. Teferi got a cloak, no hat. So I'm sure you're playing Teferi's Protection. You're playing Teferi's Protection. It is a free get out of jail free card. You cannot be targeted. You cannot lose the game. Nothing happens. Your permanents are intact. You do not exist and exist at the same time. It's exactly what all these ads want to do in our life. Like, if capitalism could cast a card, it would be Teferi's Protection. It would want to be there and not be there at the same time. All of the most evil people you know in the world, the one spell, if they had a superpower, it would be to cast Teferi's Protection in real life at will. At will. They could do whatever they want. Whatever they want. They could be as powerful, as smart as they want. They could just cast Teferi's Protection. They could do whatever they want. No problem. Cast Teferi's Protection. You are free to do whatever you want. This is such a crazy card. It's instant speed. Why is this not on the Game Changers list? This needs to be like cards like this. I also feel like the Game Changers list is very key. And I feel like I should have mentioned this earlier in the video. I feel like the key to this is policing the vast majority of decks. And ultimately, they said they don't want to teach you how to play. You know, the bracket system is ultimately set in stone. It's very, you know, a 0 or 1, black or white. But the way you use it is how you kind of go about your rule zero conversations and how you be fluid in your gameplay. But if you're going to create guidelines, those guidelines should be strict, and we should be making the bracket 3 players, where I think the vast majority of players are building their decks, be a little bit more creative. Once you get to bracket 4, you're doing high power stuff. You're not, maybe not CDH, but that's when you're like, okay, yeah, I'm putting in the One Ring, putting in the Ristics, I'm taking all my commander staples that I have in a binder, I'm putting it all together in one deck. That's fine for bracket 4, but the bracket 3 players shouldn't get freebies like this. They should be forced to be creative and not have Mystic Remora, Teferi's Protection, Ristic Study, and Lord knows just Vorinclex. I get Vorinclex is somehow on that list. Like, they shouldn't be able to have all 4 of those. Teferi's Protection, restricted from the bracket 3s. I think the part of this bracket system, the key to it is that it's going to promote creativity for the people that follow it. You don't just get to throw in all your staples. You now have to try something different. And once we get the final iteration of something like this, we get some unbans and more people playing. I think it's going to be a real great way for people to deck build and a new era for Commander, and adding these cards to that list only help you do so, because once you have these bracket 3 cards, you have to just trust those people and be like, okay, yeah, they only have 3 cards that are game changers. It's kind of giving you that information. Okay, you see the Ristic Study, you see this. Okay, they're a Planeswalker deck. Chances are the last card is Humility. Oh, they're a kind of white based combo deck. They played, you know, they played this card, they played this card. Okay, the last card in their deck, maybe it's a Teferi's Protection. They want some type of protection to be able to go off the next turn and save themselves here. Maybe that's what it is. And so these are the type of things that give you that information, and you can play into and understand what your opponent's plan is. Teferi's Protection should be on this list alongside some of these other cards. And I think that's how, those are the good additions, I should say, to the Game Changers list. And that's how we ultimately help guide people in these brackets. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you agree or disagree with my list being added to the Game Changers? What cards would you add to the Game Changers? What cards would you remove from the Game Changers list? Let me know in the comment section down below. This is a video I wanted to yap about for a bit here. I've been thinking real hard about this. I think many Commander players have as well. There's been so many thoughts. Some of you have been so normal about this. Honestly, I mean that. Some of you have actually been taking this really well. Some of you haven't. Some of you need to grow up. But I think there's a large like positive outpouring from the community. I think that's a great, that shows that the Commander format panel is doing something great. They obviously have a lot of like hands in this, and it's not a final implementation. I think that's the key. Remember, folks, this isn't the final thing. This is a starting point. Play the games, engage with your content creators, go out and build these decks, and just really like add to the format that you know and love. Don't just complain about it. Be the change that you want to see. Get involved, get changing. This is where you can be that change that you want in your life. If you want Commander to go in a good direction, this is a great time to play more of the format. Get involved, get to spell slinging, shuffle up them cards, and I don't know, let's what's some corny line I can say about Game Changers? Let's be a game changer. Folks, just leave a like on the damn video. You know you love me. Have a great weekend. Be safe.